I'm Nate at Practical Garden Ponds. We've been talking about skimmers. In our industry, like any industry, products evolve. So maybe you've had a flimsy or inadequate skimmer in the past that didn't stand up to the test of time. I know I have. If so, you might be wondering, what are the hottest new skimmers on the market right now? Today, I'm going to tell you about the skimmer that won the Best Pond Product of the Year award in 2012, and in my opinion, remains the best pond skimmer on the market as of this review in late 2015. So let's get practical. Everything and our perspective on everything changes. I remember using pond skimmers in the early 1990s that simply don't exist today because they didn't hold up. In other cases, the brand still exists, but they have greatly improved their skimmers. For example, I know one brand that used to use steel screws that now uses stainless steel screws because they hold up so much better. That is all an unavoidable part of the process of product evolution. A few products really stand the test of time first time out, but most products need to be tweaked and improved. Today, we're going to talk about a skimmer that is a little of both, something old and something new. I became aware of the Helix skimmer when it won Best Pond Product of the Year in 2012, and I saw it at a trade show. What's not new about this skimmer is the technology it uses. It uses this traditional leaf basket. This is what's used inside the Helix skimmer, but this has been the standard skimmer basket in the swimming pool industry for many, many years. In fact, it's been around as long as I can remember. And that's because it really works and it really holds up, and it's simple, proven technology. What is new is that Helix puts this proven technology, the stiff, sturdy, traditional round leaf basket with a floating weir, inside this tough, low-profile skimmer body that is built to last and is designed specifically for the pond industry. In fact, it was designed by one of the country's most innovative and creative pond contractors, Eric Triplett, aka the Pond Digger. I've always appreciated products that were invented to fill a need rather than just an idea that grew strictly from a profit motive. I have experienced the Helix brand as a brand that grew from a genuine need. Here's a pond builder who sees a need for a better skimmer, for better waterfall filters, and so forth, and he has created these skimmers out of that need. One thing that is sort of unique about this skimmer is that it is very tall and relatively narrow. This is about 35 inches top to bottom, and frankly, it can make, something that deep and narrow can be difficult to install a pump in until you learn the tricks and ways to make it easier to do so. It's also quite a hole to have to dig in the ground. However, for those negatives, they're simply made up for very quickly in how positive it is to have this, once the dirt is full right up to the neck of this skimmer, this relatively small and very low profile. It's much lower and smaller than most other skimmers on the market today. Makes it much easier to hide in the landscaping. There are also accessories that make putting a pump inside this deep skimmer much, much easier. The capacity of the Helix skimmer is between about 1,500 and 8,000 gallons per hour. You can modify the skimmer to use even less than 1,500, but it works best with some moderate in between those two figures, some GPH that's between those two figures. But if you want larger flow rates than 8,000 gallons per hour, it's simply recommended that you use 2 or more of the Helix skimmers. The Helix skimmer can be used with many vertical submersible pumps and with virtually all external pumps within those gallon per hour ranges. There are 2 details that make using this old school swimming pool technology in a pond skimmer so revolutionary. The first is the tight fit. The submersible pump, or the pathway to the external pump, starts way down in the bottom of this Helix skimmer. So we'll stick our pump down there. And then there's this optional blue metallic pad. By the way, the blue pad should not be used with pumps of greater than 5,000 gallons an hour, as there is a risk as the pad gets dirty of starving your pump for water, not enough water being able to get through it. So use that with pumps 5,000 gallons per hour and less. And then there's this solid basket plate. Now, there are two options of basket plate available. The one with the notch, which is for a submersible pump like the one we're using in this example, so that the cord to the pump fits in that notch and the basket plate can seat properly. There is also a basket plate available without the notch if you're going to use an external pump. It's not a big deal if you get the wrong plate. You can easily cut your own notch in the plate if you need to, and if you have a notch and don't need a notch, you can simply ignore it if it's not needed. The leaf basket is then inserted right into that flat plate, and the floating weir is inserted in the leaf basket. The result is the second most important detail, a helical swirl. The water enters this skimmer in the front, and literally as this weir floats on the water, the weir itself often is even spinning or turning as the water goes in this skimmer and around until it goes down into the center of the skimmer in a whirlpool-like effect. Not only does that whirlpool-like effect drive the debris into the skimmer basket, which increases its capacity, but it also is considered very fish-friendly. Unless a fish is seriously ill or injured, it can easily swim around this floating weir, which is right at the surface of the water, without being dragged over the top of this weir in that thin veneer of water that's going in over the top. Some of the pros of this skimmer are its low profile, its effective flow pattern, the tough, rigid outer body made to last a long time, and the proven swimming pool technology that we have in the basket. Another positive of this skimmer is that there are available accessories and built-in flexibility that make this skimmer adaptable to a lot of different uses. For example, there are flat spots on the side of the skimmer. You can see that most of this skimmer is completely round, but on both the right and the left, there are flat spots which allow you to use the optional Helix autofill assembly or an overflow pipe if desired. And there are also alternative routes for the plumbing in this skimmer. On the back, the entire bottom section where the submersible pump is held is flat so that you can put your bulkhead fitting in lots of different positioning on that flat back of the skimmer. You also can take the bulkhead out the bottom for certain applications if necessary. Certainly one of the cons of this skimmer is that the shape of the Helix does not allow for a large horizontal pump to be used. If you're upgrading to a Helix from a different skimmer and you're trying to use your existing pump, this could be a drawback depending on your existing pump. However, if you are buying a new vertical pump, there are now two different Helix discharge kits, or as they call them, check valve assemblies. There's the traditional check valve assembly, which comes with a union for simple and quick removal of the pump from the skimmer. And then now there is the pitless adapter version, which literally you can simply lift the pump out of the skimmer and sit it back down in. Very, very quick and easy. There will be more detail on the Helix skimmer accessories in our next episode. For now, it's important that I say that I have used the Helix check valve assembly with Helix pumps. The smallest of the Helix pumps, the 2640, does require an adapter, as the female pipe threads coming out of this pump are not 2-inch. I think they're 1.25 inches if I remember correctly. So it does require some sort of an adapter. All of the rest of the Helix pump line directly and immediately work with the check valve assembly without any adaptation. I have also used the Shinmeiwa solids handling pumps, the 3300, the 4800, the 5700, and the 6300 successfully and easily in the Helix skimmer with the Helix check valve assembly. I have used this with Tsurumi pumps, and they work really well with the 2PU, the 3PN, the 4PN, and the 8PN pumps by Tsurumi. They all work well. And the Big Frog stainless steel pumps, also the Big Frog Eco Drive pumps, work well with this assembly without any additional work or adaptation. Feel free to ask if you have a pump choice, if it's readily available for us to test it. We'll be happy to test any pump that we have available to see whether it works with the Helix skimmer and the Helix discharge kit for your ease. We also offer the Helix skimmer in a pre-packed package that has the pump already installed and mounted inside the skimmer. We do undo the union or the pitless adapter for shipping so that nothing gets cracked and broken during shipping, but we'll completely outfit this skimmer for you if you want to buy pump and skimmer and check valve assembly. And most authorized, in fact I'd venture to say all authorized Helix retailers, including of course Practical Garden Ponds, would be more than happy to pre-drill your skimmer if you're using any of the common configurations. We'd be happy. Any Helix dealer is going to be happy to pre-drill that for you, I would imagine. The only other drawback to this skimmer for some people will be the price point. This is a premium skimmer and well worth the price, but it's not cheap. But then again, buying cheap is not always practical. In fact, it's not usually practical in the long run. Buying quality and value can be very practical. In summary, except in special circumstances, this is currently our go-to skimmer at Practical Garden Ponds for our own installations and builds. It is not for every pond or for every budget, but this is a beautiful piece of equipment that does its job very well. After our next episode, which is going to be on Helix skimmer accessories specifically and how to install them and so forth, we're also going to do an episode following that on a very affordable little skimmer made by Pond Boss. So if this isn't for you, maybe you'll want to check out that upcoming edition. In the meantime, it would be great if you would subscribe to our channel, like us on Facebook, and check out how to save money at practicalgardenponds.com. We also welcome your specific pond product questions, and we'll be happy to review any product we sell with the honest intention to discuss both the pros and the cons of any item we review. After all, we are Practical Garden Ponds. Thanks for watching.